If you're watching the replay, hello. Welcome, welcome. Hey. All right, so a little bird said that this was a really good time to scope. Well, it is the time that I had available, so here we go. Hey guys. Hello, hello. Hey Danita, Rachel, Gwen. Hey Wendy. Hello from Iowa. Hey, hey. It's been a hectic day. Aw, thank you, Danita. We'll stop the music here, even though I like some background music. So one time, hey, Alyssa, I stole your time. One time, I used to wait tables in another life, and one of the managers one night, he went around and he was asking everybody, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? And I couldn't think of a superpower, but I thought it would be super awesome to have a soundtrack to my life. Like, while life is happening, there would be music playing because, it just makes everything better or more intense. Oh, did you? Yeah, we had a very busy day today. So hence the reason it is almost 7 p.m. and I'm just now scoping. Anyway, so I love like music soundtrack to your life. How fun would that be, right? Except when you're already scared, you don't want scary music playing in the background. That doesn't work so well. All right, so that is not what my scope is about today. Thank you. Okay, so we are in the middle of planning a couple of team events for this fall. And team events were something that my upline put on when I was starting to do this business. And they were something that I really, really valued. And I thought it would be a good topic for today. So here we go. A couple things about them. Some things that I think make a really good team. Well, okay, let's back up. So maybe you're just starting and you don't have a team yet. You've got a couple people under you, but maybe you don't really have any leaders, people that have stepped up, really, wanting to build a business. So what do? I would recommend finding somebody that's in kind of your similar position in the business and teaming up with them. Oh, good, Wendy. Teaming up with them. Find a cross-line friend, and if you don't have any cross-line friends, go get you some, because they are super, super valuable to your business. But go find somebody else that is in, a similar situation as you and say, hey, you want to team up and put on a big event together. There is strength in numbers. There's also sanity in numbers. Yeah, see? And so there you go. She said all her upline lives in another state. So, okay, maybe that's your situation. Maybe, your downline isn't local to you or your upline isn't local to you. Okay, what do you do in that scenario? Well, again, you go find somebody that, if you're a senior star, if you're a star, they don't have to be the same rank as you, but somebody that's, interested in building their business, in your same area and say, hey, let's team up. Let's put on a class together. Yeah, Texas is a little far for you, huh? See, and that's, she said, I tried to cross-line, make and take, and did all the work. Well, I probably would not team up with them again. But that doesn't mean that you can't find somebody else who might work with you really well. I know, actually, at one of the events here back in January, one of my builders was sitting next to me. And then actually somebody from, I think maybe they were both under me, but they were in different legs. They ended up sitting next to each other and they got talking. They were both in the exact same spot. They were both executives pushing towards silver. Ended up, they lived like 5 minutes from each other. That's a great place to, that's a good way to team up. And, hey, let's try putting on a class together. And maybe you put on a class and it's awful. And you say, okay, mental note, don't team up with them again. She says, I've been doing it on my own, but I'm strong like that. Would love partners. Yeah. Well, and that's it. You can do it on your own, but it's so much more fun with people that you like to be with, and it's way less work. So I was saying, there's strength in numbers and there's also sanity in numbers. You can do this by yourself, but man, it is so much easier if you have people to help. And this is what I was, just really seeing the value in, was when you have other people to help share the workload, and people who, maybe your strength isn't graphics. How do you best split the return from events? Oh, okay. We'll talk about that. Have had a blast doing online classes with Crossline. That's awesome. I'll get to splitting it up. But yeah, like maybe somebody's really good at graphics and you are not. Cool. Hey, why don't you do that? And I'll do something that I'm good at. Finding your strengths and taking, full opportunity of those, but then letting somebody else do things with their strengths. So, yeah, just because you do a class with a Crossline member, if they love it and you hate it because you did all the work, I wouldn't do another one with them. Don't feel pressure to have to do that. If they call up and say, hey, I want to do something, say, it didn't really work out that well for me last time. I felt like I did all the work. Be honest with them. I mean, what do you have to lose? So anyway, okay, so splitting the return. Well, okay, you get your people and they get their people. So if you're doing like an intro class, it should be pretty obvious, okay, these are the people I invited, these are the people you invited. Whoever signs up, you get. It does not have to be a 50-50. If, your people show up and they all sign up and the other person has a bunch of people come to the class but none of them sign up, that's not your deal. You don't have to give them your signups. So I wouldn't. That's a pretty clear-cut thing. Now, it does get a little sticky when you're doing like events, like a vendor, a health fair or something like that. You can still do that with a Crossline friend. You can every other person, every other sign up, you switch sponsors, back and forth kind of thing. But as far as typical events, I guess if you are having it like at a local coffee shop and you're inviting just random people, because you got the opportunity to advertise at the coffee shop and that kind of thing, I would split it 50-50. So, every other one gets, you switch sponsors. What about people who come from seeing a flyer? There we go. That's what we're talking about. So the other thing you might do, instead of splitting it 50-50, just every other person, is, see kind of who you definitely want to be clear and upfront beforehand how that's going to work, lay it all out. Now, there might be a case where, turns out one of the people there, you have all these same mutual friends and, your moms go to church together or, something random like that. Well, then I would make sure that that's one of your people. What kind of events do you do other than vendor, make and take, or class? Okay, I'll get to that. So I would just be clear and upfront at the beginning. Again, if you really hit it off with someone, mark that down as one of your people. And just be upfront at the get-go. What other events do I do? Most of them are classes. Now, the classes can be all different things. They can be intro classes. So that's, mostly people that have not signed up for oils. It could be people that have signed up but never attended a class. That's a really big one. And when you're starting out, that's, I would say, the ones you should focus on. Focus on teaching for your team, focus on putting on, if you have some people underneath you and you have some people that, that they have friends that are interested, maybe they don't want to host a class of their own. So this is one of the benefits of team events. Okay. If you put on and you organize an event and then you invite everybody under you, hey, I'm going to put on this class. I'm going to teach it. All you have to do is, bring your friends and family and show up. That's a really cool thing because it's possible that you've got someone that maybe they only have 2 people that are interested and they say, oh, well, I don't really want to put on a class all by myself. I only have 2 or 3 people that would come. But if they can just bring their 2 or 3 friends, then they might actually bring them to a class as opposed to hosting one all themselves. So I know I've been in that situation before back when I was building. I had months where I only had 1 or 2 people that were interested, or maybe I had somebody that had signed up but didn't have the opportunity to attend the class. Well, my upline put on an event, and again, good question. All right, talking about helpers at public events, splitting the enrollments. But again, I could bring 1 or 2 people with me and go to that class, and the room was full of people because my upline had invited all of her people, and so a lot of people there brought 1 or 2 people with them, and it was just a really good vibe because it was a bigger group and it was a lot of fun. So that's one of the benefits of group events. You can a lot of times snag those 1 or 2 people who only have 1 or 2 friends, kind of thing, and instead of having to put on a whole class, they just have to come to yours. Okay, so the question came up about helpers. That's a good question. I'm assuming you mean like a health fair or something like that. Usually at that kind of thing, I try not to involve too many people. If I'm attending, if I'm the one that has the booth, I either find people like my husband to go work it with me, or if I already know ahead of time that I'm going to place those people in a specific leg, then I might invite like the sponsor, who I'm going to place them under, or, somebody in that line that it benefits them. I might invite those people to come help. But for the most part, I think 2 to 3 people at a table is typically plenty. You don't usually need more than that unless it's a really, really big event. So when it comes to helpers, it's really nice if you can find, they totally are, because you don't have to split your signups with your husband. You have to get a babysitter, but that's what I did one time. Was I got my husband to come, and then I got the person that I was going to put the enrollees, or the people that signed up, I was going to put them under them, so they came and they worked it with me. So it benefited both of us. And then the same thing, I went and helped one of my girls who she was doing an event. She needed some help, and so I came to help her. So I'm her sponsor. So you can reach up or down to find helpers, but my experience, those events have not been super profitable for me. So I don't do those anymore. I did 2. And one of them was a babies and kids expo, and then one of them was just a school expo. I got the word out to a lot of people about oils. We had lots of really good oily conversations, and I think they all went and bought from their friends who they know do oils instead of some random person that they just had one conversation with. So what are your biggest profit events? Not the vendor things. Intro classes are great. Again, if you're just starting out, that is what I would focus on. And then the other thing that you could do, I think that occasionally doing a Beyond the Basics class of some sort, or if you want to rotate through different topics or products in Young Living, you can do that. But if you're just starting out, I wouldn't focus on that, and I wouldn't really spend my time doing classes on that too much. Again, the intro classes are where you're going to get your signups. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't want to educate your people on the other products that there are, that kind of thing. You could do Facebook classes on other products. Again, that's something that you can do from your own home. Other people can do it from their own home. In my experience, and this is not to say it's for everybody, but this is just my personal experience, I haven't found that intro classes as a Facebook event work super well. That's, there are some times where people will sign up from a Facebook event, but because it is so impersonal on a computer, they just don't seem to sign up as much. Again, it does happen occasionally, but if you have 20 people at a Facebook class, you might get 1 or 2 signups. Whereas if you have 20 people at a live class, you're probably going to have a much higher sign-up rate. So for me, I don't love to do intro classes as a Facebook event. Now, I love to do, like I said, Beyond the Basics classes. I love to do educational Facebook ones. Exactly. She said, I've only had 3 signups from a Facebook event, and I've done 4 of them. Most of my signups are from Facebook classes, but I'm probably an anomaly. Yeah, and that's, maybe your friends like that more. Maybe they're not. My friends are invited to lots of Facebook classes every single week, and Facebook parties, and, all the different companies that are out there. There's tons of different Facebook events. So, and again, you could be an awesome Facebook person, event person, where you really engage your people, but it's really common. People can hide in, it's definitely tapering off. Yeah. People can hide in a Facebook class. In a live class, they don't hide as much. So again, I think the educational ones, like, putting on a supplement class on Facebook is awesome. Putting on a kids class on Facebook, great idea. Again, you're connecting with people who are already signed up, and you're really just educating them more. So, but don't let that scare you away from live events, because live events are a lot of fun, and getting to know your people, them getting to know each other, all of that is so valuable. And I know sometimes, when we do like our business meetings and things like that, we don't even want to put it online because people miss the value of being at an event. So, all right, let's get back to why team events are great. So I already talked about, if you've got people underneath you and they only have one or two people, they're not maybe going to put on a whole class by themselves, but they might come to your team class. So that's a really fun thing. Something else is if you do have a little bit of a bigger team and you've got leaders on your team, a really good way to get them to buy into kind of the group mentality, whatever it is you've got going on for your team, is to include them in leadership roles. And maybe they're not leaders, but they know oils. Hey, would you mind talking about this at the next class? You have some great stories, or you're really good at speaking about that, or I think people could really connect with you. But really asking your leaders to, giving them a leadership role in your event that you're putting on, really, again, it gives them buy-in, it gives them a reason to promote it to their people. And that's one of the things that we have found is, involving some of our other leaders, hey Danielle, really gets them to care more about the event. And whereas a lot of times they don't promote the events that we do, when they're speaking or when they're presenting, then they're going to invite all their people. So that's a really good reason to, again, to involve your leaders and, even if they're not a leader yet, to get them on board. Tap into their strengths. I kind of mentioned that, but if somebody is really good, connection, absolutely. Oh, bad connection? Is that what you're saying? Or were you saying connection like connecting your people or getting connected to your people? Tap into your people's strengths. If you see them posting some awesome, pictures on Instagram or on Facebook, maybe have them do some pictures or some graphics for your group. It's, again, the more people you can get working with you, the easier, them feeling connected, totally. And, that you see value in them is really, really good. And everybody wants to feel appreciated. They want to feel seen. Those are things that really, again, they get people to team up with you. And, again, you kind of link arms and say, hey, let's do this together. And I think people really appreciate that. So, again, I mentioned if you don't have a lot of leaders, find some crossline people, and you might have to go through a couple crossline people before you find the right ones. But anytime you're at big events where there are opportunities to meet new people, do that and talk to people. And hey, how long have you been in Young Living? And what's your rank? Where are you at? How many people do you have? What's your best tip? Ask questions, and you never know what kind of relationships that you'll form at those kinds of events. For example, tomorrow night is the WILE Fast Track event, so that's a great place to find crossline friends and connections. This weekend is Road to Royal. I don't know if any of y'all are going, but again, meet some crossline people and get connected with people. While you're standing in line buying Melissa Pepping's makeup, talk to people and, find out where they're at. So, all right, I think that's about all I have. But again, I was getting ready for a team event. Oh yeah, and the Fall Symposium. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you, Alyssa. The Fall Symposium is October 10th. If you do not have your tickets, you need to get them. There's early bird pricing for another week or so, maybe, week and a half. So go get your ticket. There's going to be some amazing, amazing speakers, and that will be an all-day event, so that's another great place to find crossline friends, crossline relationships, go out to lunch with people, and, and if you're bringing some of your leaders, encourage them to find some crossline people because, again, those relationships are so important, and I did a scope on that a while back. If you want to watch any of my previous scopes, I do have a catch.me account, so it's a website. You go to katch.me/my scope handle, which is Jess Jacobs 117. So all my previous scopes are there, so feel free to take a look at those. And it's Wednesday. I was going to say something about Tip Tuesday, and I was like, oh, no, it's Wednesday because Monday was off. Standing in line, where can we buy her makeup? In a store. No, tomorrow night at the WILE Fast Track event here in Dallas. She's going to bring her makeup. So, and I'm not sure if she'll have it at the Road to Royal event in Houston. Yeah, that would that's a good question, Danita, but that's what I was referring to there. Online or tomorrow night. Yeah. So online you can buy her makeup. Okay, she will not have the makeup at Road to Royal. So just tomorrow night. So if you want to get there early so it doesn't sell out. But you can get it online. If you go to her Facebook page, I'm sure you can find a website link. So, all right, do a team event, with your team members or with a cross-line friend, something. Because again, I think that they have the opportunity to be really refreshing, really empowering, powerful. And again, maybe you don't have a ton of people, but talk to your upline about it. If they're local to you and they've never done a team event, maybe hit that up. One of the other reasons why I wanted to do this was one of my downline members came to me and said, hey, I've got all these great ideas for this fall, but I was thinking if, maybe you wanted to do it, you have a lot more people and we could, do it easier. And it was a genius idea. So this fall we have organized a couple of events that we're going to do, with my whole downline. It will benefit her and her downline, but it's also going to benefit her because she doesn't have to do all the work. We get to take advantage of, a lot more people. We get to open it up to a broader range of people. And so far we've had a lot of fun, putting these events together, and I'm looking forward to this fall doing that a lot. So, whether you want to put on one, talk to your sponsor, talk to, somebody, if you've got somebody that's 2 or 3 levels above you, talk to them about, putting on a team event. It doesn't have to be, a big crazy event. Again, it could just be an intro class at a local restaurant and you all invite your people. So there's lots of ways to do it. Get creative. Talk to some people. If some people that have done big team events, ask them questions. So, all right, y'all, don't forget, the only way to fail at this business, is it offensive if I point and shake my finger? I thought about that the other day. I thought, I feel kind of bad that I'm like scolding people, but I'm not. I'm just like passionate about, do not quit, y'all. You can do this. That's the only way to fail, is to quit. So don't quit. And then I don't know why I thought of that the other day, but I thought, I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just, right. I'm emphasizing. Yes. Oh, thank you, Danita. I hope you feel that. I'm not trying to, thank you, Wendy. I'm not scolding. I'm just like, you can do it. You can do it. That's from some Adam Sandler movie, but I always forget what. Okay, so don't quit, because that's the only way to fail. And, so you can succeed. That means that you can succeed, right? That's right. So are you, Danita. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll talk sooner in the day tomorrow. Okay, water boy, that's it. Thanks, honey. All right, y'all. Bye.